Hello, so today I am reviewing episode 2 of A Very English Scandal, which just came out like part 1. So the thing is, last time I forgot to say that I like when Hugh Grant does more serious movies because, like, he only did basically one serious movie, like Extreme Measures. I like that movie because it's a more serious movie than the typical, romantic comedy, I guess, because one, I hate romance movies, and two, I hate comedies. So his serious stuff is more better to me, is all I was gonna say about Hugh Grant. Okay, so anyways, jumping right into part 2, the review of part 2. When the episode is first opening, who do we see? I think we see Jeremy. I think we do. Yeah, we do, because he's doing a I don't know, a speech or a debate because he's getting higher in his political career. And then it cuts to him talking about how they're going to kill Norman. And he was like, okay, what we can do is we can throw him in the coal mines or the abandoned mines. And I'm like, I don't know if that's really a good place to hide the body, though. Like, a lot of hobo kids probably run through the mines all the time. So they'd probably be like, why is there a body in here? So I don't know if you can call the mines really a good place to hide the body. But so basically that's where we are as far as Jeremy goes in the beginning of this episode.
And you'll just have to shoot him, David. Can you get a gun?
I can do whatever you want, Jeremy.
You can do whatever I want, Jeremy. I'll shoot the bugger, stand dead.
Get rid of him and make sure no one sees you.
But okay, so after we see where Jeremy is, it catches up to Norman and where he is now, because the man that was with Jeremy last time was like, good, we don't have to kill him anymore because he got married, whatever. And we see Norman with his wife. And of course, they still have no money. And she's like, if you blame this on Jeremy Thorpe one more time, I'm going to kick you in the face. And he's like, well, it's his fault because I don't have my card. And without my card, I can't do this and I can't do that. And she's like, whatever. I forgot to say, her dad was being really crusty and calling him all types of names when they got married because her dad is just a raggedy hobo, but that's not the point. So we see her being like, we have no money, we have no food. But I'm like, she just wasted all their money. She's a raggedy hobo because she went and bought a dress and all these things, and she took a cab back home when she could have probably walked or something, and it's like, why are you wasting the money that you do not have on things? So basically that's what he said to her, but she was like, well, you're supposed to provide for us. And I'm like, who are you? Like, equality in here, equal provisions. Two people chose to become together in a civil union or a marriage or by the law or by the Holy Spirits or whatever. So I feel like when two people get together and create one, they must equally contribute. It has to be 50-50. It can't be, oh, I'm a girl, so you have to do all this, or oh, I'm a man, so you need to do this. No, like...
A taxi, that's nice. How much did that cost?
Every last penny.
Did you buy any food?
You're the provider.
But did you spend all our money?
Get some more. You married me. You promised to look after me.
She can get a job, she can work, yeah, they have a baby, but she could do stuff. So anyway, she was like, go get us some food. So he runs outside and goes getting them some food. He got them some apples, some eggs, and some mushrooms because he was nice like that. Like, he was good. And she was leaving. When he came back, she left, and I'm like, she is so raggedy. Why would you do that to somebody? Like... And they never show her again, so I don't know what happened, but she just left him and abandoned their little apartment that they lived in, or their little house, and I'm like, she's raggedy for that. Right after we see Norman's wife leave, they say that Jeremy's wife died, and I'm like, okay, that was random. But so we see that basically both of their lives are really not going so good right now because his wife left him and his wife died. Whatever. So what happens is the man that was originally gonna help Jeremy kill Norman and was originally a part of his plan was like, I'm leaving the country because I don't need stuff catching up to me, and when the police come to get you, basically, I'm not gonna be a part of this, so goodbye. And he was like, why are you leaving me, blah, 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 blah. But he was like, you need to leave Norman alone because he really didn't do anything that deeply to you. And he's like, no, this and this and this, he needs to die, he still needs to die. And I'm like, but why? Like, if you think about it, he really didn't do anything. He just wanted his crusty, dusty social security card. He would have took it and he would have moved on. But no, he had to be such... Jeremy had to be such a stubborn camel horse and not want to move and give somebody their raggedy card, but...
Well,
So anyways, after we see that, we cut to Norman and he's living in a trailer. And he meets this girl who just so happens to know one of the people in the House of Parliament that just so happens to be working towards the same job as Jeremy. So he can get them into the House of Parliament and he can obviously get them talking to people they need to talk to. So he tells the girl his story. She writes it down and she sends the man a letter and the man is like, okay, come greet us. And Norman is all like, it's about time because seriously.
Mr. Wilson, this is Mr. Scott.
Thank you so much for seeing me. And may I say, it's about time.
I was waiting on you at the door.
And basically explains his story to the people in the House of Parliament. And they're like, but you might be lying. And he was like, why would I lie? Like, basically, if it's true, why would you lie about something like that? Who makes up a story like that? But he was like, despite all of this, he still loves him. And I'm like, but why? Why do you love this man? Like, he did nothing good or beneficial towards him, so why does he still love him? I don't know. Maybe love is a crazy thing. I mean, I can't say because I never been in love. And I never been with anybody, so I wouldn't know. But I'm just saying, do people really just look over everything that somebody did that was wrong just to be like, well, I still love him? And I'm like, no, you should not. But so anyways, after they're finished talking, the man's like, okay, we'll see what we could do.
I beg your pardon?
I love him. Jeremy.
We can
No,
stop
because
now.
every time I tell this story, it's always about the card and the sex and the letters. But I loved him. And I still love him, even though that's ridiculous. And he loved me.
And we see Jeremy come back because they claimed he was on a vacation for all these weeks. So he comes back and he's talking to the man that he claims wanted his political career, whatever. And he tells him what happened. As far as Norman coming and talking about him, and he's like, you know, if this gets out, things could happen. He's like, well, it's a lie. The story is a lie, blah, 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 blah. And he keeps telling people that he goes to collect. Jeremy goes to collect different people to do different things. And he keeps being like, let me tell you, this story is a lie, but if it gets out, it could be detrimental to his career. And I'm like, did nobody catch on to how suspicious that is? Like, if it's not true and you can prove that it's not true, then why on earth do you still want the person to die? Like, explain. Where is the logic? So anyways, eventually, Jeremy collects all these people to basically be a part of the Kill Norman Scott Collective, which is what I'm going to call it. And so we see that Norman gets another job because the girl he was with actually ended up killing herself because she couldn't believe that he was still in love with Jeremy, and I guess it broke her heart so much because he decided to be with her, and she couldn't believe that after being with her, he would go and betray her, I guess. But I'm like, he never liked her in the first place, so I mean, she was the one that made the advances, so why on earth is she sitting here? Anyway, she killed herself. So he had to move on and get a new job, and he went to work back at the stables, which he loved to work at, Saddle Club. And he was...
Not scared of hard work, then?
I love it. My first ever job was in the stables. That's why I came here.
So one day he's out riding a horse, and he sees Jeremy in the car, and they just pass each other like that, but they look at each other, and I'm like, he's all, hello, and I'm like, I wouldn't have been like, hello. It would have been way worse than hello that I would have said to him, because no.
Thank you.
Anyways, eventually the people that were getting to kill Norman, the carpet cleaner man, and the man that moved countries and went to America, them two got together and were like, I really don't want to kill somebody because it's kind of wrong. And the other man was like, yeah, I know. So the carpet man was like, but I love Jeremy so much. And I'm like, how did he troll them all into loving him? I can't. Because, like, the other man had a boyfriend. Like, the carpet cleaner man, he had a boyfriend. And he was like, despite that he has a boyfriend and he moved on with his life, he still loves him so much. And I'm like, what did this old man have?
It's astonishing the hold he has over us. Strange, isn't it? Because I've got that bloke of mine at home, Gerald. And that's magic. But then I go to London and there's Jeremy. And I love him.
So, just like in every story ever, who said you had to do it? You can always get somebody else to do it. So they get all these people together, and eventually Norman goes to work for this old lady who says he can stay in her bar in the top room. And he was like, oh my gosh, and he starts crying again like he always does, because he can't believe that she's being so nice and she's letting him live in the little house, because he was walking dogs at this point. They never said what happened to his stable job, but he starts working dogs. And she was like, you can make some money here and you can work up there if you clean the bar and that and that. So he was all happy.
If you fancy doing a few odd jobs, you know, changing the barrels, a bit of bar work, there's a nice little room upstairs, you can have that.
I could live here.
Well, if you want, it's just peppercorn rent.
So the man in that they eventually hired to kill him started making his moves, I guess you could say, on Norman to talk to him. So one day he shows up in this little yellow car and he's like, hey, somebody's trying to kill you, blah, 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 blah. You need to get in this car and come with me. And I'm like, how suspicious is that? Somebody's gonna kill you, so you need to come with me? What kind of sense does that make? Shouldn't it be somebody's gonna kill you, so call the police, not somebody's gonna kill you, so you need to get in this car with me because you have no other option, just come with me right now? And I'm like, no, let's not. So instead of going directly with him, which is smart, in this episode Norman makes some smart decisions. He runs back inside, he takes the dog inside, he tells the lady to write down the license plate number, the color of the car, everything, blah, 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 while he runs upstairs and does whatever. And she runs out and she does the license plate, blah, blah, blah. And the man in the car starts hiding because he obviously doesn't want people to know what he looks like because he's suspicious. So he hides, whatever, whatever. And then Norman comes back out and she's like, why did you get all dressed up? And he's like, because he was cute. And I'm like, you thirsty skank. Like, seriously.
Who is he?
He says someone wants to kill me.
Why have you changed your shirt?
He's very good looking.
Like, no. He was thirsty. So he ran out and was like, and I'm like, when somebody's gonna kill you but they're cute, so it doesn't matter. Anyways, you can't just be going because somebody's cute. So he goes with the man and they have this conversation and they talk, whatever, whatever. And basically they agreed to meet up within the next couple of weeks. Now skipping, because I forget a lot of what happens, but skipping, we eventually get to a point where Norman gets told to meet the man somewhere in the middle of the night. So he gets ready, and eventually he goes down to talk to the man. He brings a dog with him. The man is like, why must you bring the dog every single time? And he's like, because I love this dog, blah, 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 blah. And because he had a different dog the first time, the man is like, how many dogs do you have? My God. So he gets in this rickety car that barely even works, and him and Norman go. They go. And I'm like, I don't know about this, though. You can't just go somewhere in the middle of the night just because somebody told you, oh, meet me here. Like, let's not do that. No.
It's all gonna be okay. It's all gonna be okay, I promise. It's okay.
That's like Notice 111. But at this point, it was getting close to the end of the episode, so I kind of knew they were going to leave it on a cliffhanger, and I was like, of course. Because they always do that, but not the point. So he gets in the car with the man, and the man leaves him at this bar, basically. And he's waiting there for hours and hours and hours because the man, I guess the car wouldn't start, and he was like, dang it. And he was contemplating whether he wanted to kill him or not, because nobody wants to kill somebody except for crazy people, but nobody wants to really kill anybody. So eventually, after the car starts again, he goes to get Norman, and Norman's like, why did you take so long? Oh my God. So the man starts acting crazy. So he'll be like, okay, let's pull over. So he pulls over the car. Norman gets out, takes the dog out, and the man pulls out a gun and he shoots the dog, which is braggedy because the dog didn't do anything. This is just like when people strangle the cat. It's like, what did the animal do to you? Like, no. So anyways, just as the man gets the gun ready again to shoot Norman, the gun jams, and that's how you know he had all the angels and all the everything and all the holy light of Jesus shining on him, because the gun jammed and he started running and the man was like, dang it, dang it, dang it. So he just jumped in the car and left. And I'm like, this is a praise the Lord moment because he didn't get shot. And it's sad because they shot the dog, but I said I think the dog was probably a guardian angel or something that was sent there to protect him, and that's why he had to bring the dog, because he felt a strong connection with the dog, and that was probably the dog or some spirit or whatever saying it was going to protect him. So that's why he brought the dog. But so yes, he gets away, which is good, and he goes back to get the dog. I don't know why he went back, but I guess that's kind of smart because he didn't run too far out into the marsh. That's another thing I forgot to note. The man drove him way deep in the middle of nowhere, and it's like, why in every movie ever where the person is going to kill somebody, do they drive them way deep into the middle of nowhere? Like, wouldn't people get suspicious by the time you start driving all deep into the woods, like, hey, where are we going? And it's so tragic because there was a real story like that, and they had a recorded phone call with this girl, and the man promised to drive her back home or something, and she was like, hey, where are we going? And he was like, shut up, basically, and that's where the phone call ends because you could just hear her getting killed. But basically, Norman is the luckiest person in the history of lucky people to ever be lucky because he got away, he didn't get shot, and he runs back and is talking to the people and it's like, Jeremy Scott did this, he did this, blah, 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 blah. And that's basically where the episode ends. I mean, it's kind of cliffhangery, but not really cliffhangery, so I don't know if you really want to call it cliffhangery. But I knew they were going to do this because they're doing it in 3 parts. So of course they have to have their beginning to draw you in, their transition, and then their oh my lord episode, which is going to be the last one. But so far for this episode, I would give this episode 6.5 because they waited so long to get to the point, which I knew they were going to do anyways because they always do that. But, man. So anyways, that is my rating for part 2 of A Very English Scandal. So I thank you for watching and I will see you in the next video.